Former Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi is urging the Nigerian electorate to track party manifestos and scrutinize campaign promises as election day draws closer. Fayemi was speaking at the NPO Report's one-day dialogue on campaign promises in Abuja. He attributes the challenges of unmet political promises to unnecessary bureaucracy. Okanlawon, who is the publisher of online publication NPO Reports, says journalists must investigate happenings in society and curate campaign promises for the purposes of accountability.
Monitor every segment. You say you are going to build 200 classrooms. How many have you built at the end of the year? You say you are going to build 10 kilometers of road in each local government. How far have you gone with that? We do it. There are times that you genuinely promise you want to do something as a government or as a governor, either during your campaign or even when you get to office. And then you get there. You are confronted with extenuating circumstances that you cannot even explain sometimes. And even when you can explain it, time lapses and you are not able to do it.
We are also concerned by certain things in the society, one of which is the fraud in the political process. And one of such fraud is the fake promises that politicians are used to giving. Unfortunately, the voters take their choices, make their choices, give their votes mostly on the basis of some of these promises. We believe that we can contribute our quota to that effort by stimulating a new debate in encouraging the voters to take note of those promises made by politicians.
Well, Okanlawon himself, live here in the studio, the convener and publisher of NPO Reports, joins us. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, very interesting. First of all, I'd like you to underscore how important really is it to track, election promises, especially in a society like ours, where, quoting respected Obieze Kwesili, who talks about the weaponization of poverty and, of course, ignorance goes along with that. How effectively, really, can we track election promises?
Well, you see, we must start somewhere. Poverty has been used as a weapon to actually keep people down. And that is why, at the end of the day, at every election cycle, you find out that people really do not have choice except to go the direction which where the moneyed politicians want them to go. And that is as a result of the fact that they do not actually have choices. It becomes very difficult for the civil populace to make that informed choice of who is that man that has the capacity to perform, who is that man that has the capacity to give us what will change the narratives, what will change our conditions. So when people see poverty, obviously it becomes difficult for you to even take decisions on your own without really thinking of, okay, the means of survival for today. And once someone is out there who is ready to give you something to survive today, then they say he who dictates, who pays the piper dictates the tune. So poverty, just like you said, has been used as a weapon to keep people down and to tell them this is where we want to. But we are talking about the fact that, look, let us begin to sanitize the electoral process, the political process, by encouraging people to take adequate note of the promises that are being made by politicians.
Great. So before we can solve a problem, we'll first acknowledge that it exists and why it exists. And so my question to you is, why do politicians make promises they can't keep? Because the foundation of our political campaigns are broken promises.
Right.
Mr. A told you he was going to do this and he can't do it. Vote me, Mr. B, I will do it. It's a broken promise and it's been like that. It's a recurring cycle. Why do they make promises they can't keep?
Well, I'm sorry. You see, the report you just showed now, your correspondent that witnessed the event of today will tell you that speakers upon speakers, the guest speaker, Professor Lai Olurode, members of the panel, dissected this issue. And of course, people brought out the fact that, okay, there could be some genuine reasons. Even those of us who are advocating that there must be some level of advocacy in terms of campaign promises. We also recognize that there are some genuine cases where someone has made a promise, but certain realities makes it, certain realities make it, difficult for you to realize, to keep those promises. But there must be a conversation.
Yeah.
We are at a stage where people many politicians don't even realize that promises made ahead of elections need to even be revisited. We're talking about the fact that you even need to revisit those promises. You need to, people say, just tell people what they want. And at campaign rallies, that is what mostly happens.
Now that
but
seems
we
to
are
be the
trying,
driving,
we are trying to stimulate that debate, create that consciousness that, look, let us begin that process to begin to note adequately what was the promise by Mr. A while seeking for our votes, upon which we made our decision to give him our mandate. What did Mr. B say? And after securing the seat, can we take it back to him and say, look, Mr. A, you said this, you said that. And I'll give you some examples. In Nigeria, at every election cycle, you see that there are some places in Nigeria where you can predict what a politician is going to promise. If you go to Kogi State, they will promise about Ajaokuta Steel Company. If you go to a particular part of maybe, just like one of the speakers said today.
We heard Fayemi say there that, look, there are extenuating circumstances, you know, and all of that, and unnecessary bureaucracy. I wonder if you agree with him in 30 seconds?
Yeah, I agree with him to a certain extent.
Right.
Well, we'll have to thank you very much. Mr. Samuel Okanlawon from the NPO report.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the work you do.
Thank you.